Hello, good morning. Today I want to tell you a story about cheese and how I managed to kick my cheese addiction. You see, cheese is delicious. And I used to really enjoy cheese on toast. I used to enjoy cheese sandwiches with tomatoes. And whenever I went to a fast food outlet like Burger King or something, I would definitely always order something with cheese. So I understand what it means to enjoy cheese. And before I went vegan, I didn't really think a lot about cheese. I didn't think a lot about milk or dairy. It was just a normal thing that everybody used to eat, you know? When I first became vegan, I actually learned that cheese and dairy and milk were probably responsible for the. I had a bloated feeling and my body was full of air and it was really uncomfortable. And I learned that it was probably the dairy and the cheese that was causing this. Um, but this was in the early days. Was when really I'd only just become vegan, and I remember not really knowing what I was doing, but I remember clearly thinking, maybe I should just go vegetarian. That way I can still eat eggs, I can still eat cheese, and even though my body was full of air, and I'd learned that that cheese and dairy was probably responsible. At that point, I thought perhaps that would be a good idea. That was until I watched a video online, and at that point, I'd made the decision to go vegan purely on for health reasons. But then I watched a video on YouTube, and it explained, or it showed, all the suffering that the animals go through to produce dairy, cheese, and eggs. I had absolutely no idea. I had this, I'd always had in my mind this idea that cows somehow just gave milk. That all you had to do with a cow was let it out into a field, let it roam around, be happy in the sunshine, a little bit of rain, everything good, eat the grass, and the cow would produce milk. And that milk we would then use to drink and make cheese. I didn't see any harm in that. But what I found out was that that's actually not what was happening. So I didn't realize, really stupidly, but I didn't realize that for a cow to produce milk, it has to be pregnant or just to have given birth, which means that cows are artificially impregnated every year so that they give birth to a calf, uh, which perhaps doesn't sound too bad until you realize that the calves are taken away from the mothers shortly after birth, like literally 1 to 2 days if they're lucky. Um, a calf would normally be with its mother for a much longer time. This separation causes a great deal of stress for the cows. They're really upset. The calves cry for their mother. The mother cries for the calf. But we take the babies away, and then we steal the mother's milk, for and then the whole process repeats in a year's time. We then impregnate her again, so she can again go through the whole cycle again. The calves, if it's a male calf, well, half of them are just slaughtered straight away. The other half of these little baby calves are either used for veal or sold on for other use in the animal industry. The female calves, some of them go back into the dairy producing herd, and some of them go into the meat industry as well. So the whole process is actually barbaric. And at the end of this cycle, I mean, a cow the normal life cycle of a cow is 25 years, 20 to 25 years. But typically a dairy cow will only live till 6 or 7 if they're lucky, because by then they're completely worn out. We've abused them so much, and then of course they're slaughtered for cheap meat or something. So, and I've not even mentioned the pain that cows go through, the pus that's created because they're so sore from being pumped all the time. I mean, the whole thing is horrific. And after I'd watched this video, suddenly I not only wanted to be vegan for health reasons, but I also wanted to be vegan for compassionate reasons. So that's the thing that changed my mind. And from that moment on, it became actually quite easy to say, okay, no, I like cheese and I like dairy, but you know, the suffering that these animals go through is not worth me, 2 minutes taste pleasure for, for a bit of cheese on toast. Yeah, one of the hardest discoveries for me actually was finding out that I'd been lied to, that we'd been lied to for our entire lives at school, on television, the government, you know, telling us that drink milk and you'll get strong bones, which is also a lie. It made me angry that nobody had actually educated or told people exactly what was going on. I do take a little bit of responsibility for that because I didn't really want to know. But I think that if everybody was taught in schools, or that we all had some education as children about what actually went on, I think the world would be a more compassionate place today. But these industries are really powerful. The government, the media, and the farming industry is very, very powerful. But the good news is, you when you go vegan, you don't have to give up the taste of cheese, because there is this this cheesy tasting yeast called nutritional yeast that you can use to create a really nice cheesy taste. So you can use this nutritional yeast. You can get it in most health stores. Nutritional yeast can be used to make a cheesy sauce, so you can make a nice cheese sauce for mushrooms or something. And what you can also do is, if you're making vegan spaghetti bolognese, you can sprinkle nutritional yeast onto the top or into the dish, and it also gives a real nice cheesy flavor. Also, lots of supermarkets and health food shops also have vegan cheese. So vegan cheese there's quite a big selection now, and what I found is it's actually getting better and better and better. And we've never been at a better time now to actually try vegan cheese alternatives. So I hope I've managed to persuade you that although cheese tastes really nice, and although I myself enjoyed cheese so much, that when you look to actually what's going on, it's a very, very, very high price that the cows and these poor sentient beings pay for our taste pleasure. So thank you for being there. See you again tomorrow.